Welcome to the conversation where words have power to unite us all. Are you passionate about literature? Do you find solace and inspiration within the pages of a book? Then we invite you to join our global community of readers in our Conversation Book Club. Whether you're in Guyana or anywhere else in the world, our book club offers a space of meaningful dialogue, discovery, and connection. Together, we explore the depths of storytelling, share insight, and celebrate the beauty of diverse perspectives. Led by Pastor Seon Rodney and Pastor J.D. Prasad, our book club fosters an environment of respect, empathy, and understanding. They invite you to join them on this enriching journey. To become a part of our vibrant community, simply reach out to Pastor Seon Rodney at 678-770-0430 or Pastor J.D. Prasad at 592-662-9844. Let's embark on a shared adventure through the world of literature, because in the Conversation Book Club, every voice matters.
Good night, Apostle.
Good night, Pastor Seon.
Each and every one, welcome to the Conversation Motivational Date Night. With your school is from your end, Apostle. Can you move your phone, please? Amazon, right? Into your system.
It's raining very hard here, Pastor Seon.
Oh, it's the rain. I'm hearing the rain. You hear me now?
It's raining a lot, really hard.
Oh, okay. So once again, welcome to our Conversation Motivational Date Night with yours, Pastor Seon Rodney and Apostle J.D. Prasad. We're experiencing some inclement weather where you are in the Catherine Maikoni area. So you will hear a little feedback because of the rain. But Apostle, what you could do to mute your phone, and when you unmute, you should mute back so the feedback comes through the system. Mute your phone. You gotta mute your phone, Apostle. You unmute and then you mute again. Mute the phone, Apostle. Mute the phone.
I can't hear you because of the rain.
Yeah, you have to mute your phone.
I'm gonna have to. Okay, I'm gonna leave and come back, Pastor Seon. I could go and get my earpiece.
All right, good, great. All right, once again, welcome to our Conversation Motivational Date Night with yours truly, Pastor Seon Rodney and Apostle J.D. Prasad, because of inclement weather, meaning that it's raining profusely in the country of Guyana. A Conversation Together with Rise Ministry is located in Catherine Maikoni on the East Coast corridor of the country of Guyana. Apostle J.D. Prasad will return to the screen and to the studio as soon as she equipped herself to deal with the inclement weather. There will be less feedback in the studio. With that being said, once again, we happy to be with the family. We happy that we can come around your fireplace. We can be in your patio. We can be in your landing. We can be on your veranda. We can be in your break room on your job. We can be in your car. You're driving along the highway. You're driving along the expressway. We're glad to be with the family, in your patio, your lazy bike chair. You pause your favorite show. You're there with the family, and we're there at your dinner table, at your lunch table. You're having supper. You're having dinner. Once again, we're glad to be with the family tonight, where we deal with humanity over spirituality. With that being said, tonight, welcome to our Conversation Motivational Date Night. Our topic tonight is embracing the change. Embracing the change. But before we get into our topic tonight, can someone tell me, what did you eat today? What did you have for lunch today? What was your Sunday best according to our deacon Sherwin Lebasti? what did you had as your Sunday best for lunch today? What did you eat today? Or what was your meal today for Sunday today? What did you had to eat today? Welcome back, Apostle JD Prasad. Welcome. Welcome back, Apostle.
Thank you, Pastor Seon. How are you tonight?
I am doing good. I'm doing great. We are on 10. Your sound is
Good
great.
night, Pastor Seon.
Yeah. So, how was your day today? How was your day today, Apostle?
How was your day?
My day was good today. I had a great
My
day.
day was awesome. My day was awesome, enjoyable.
Okay, great, great, great. Well, my day was great. We went to church and we start off our month of divinity in diversity, and we dealing with our month of all nations.
Okay.
So every Sunday we'll be doing different things with the all nation, and we deal with intercessory starting from today. Then tomorrow, then Sunday coming, we're gonna deal with the Christ ambassadors. Then we're gonna come together all together in terms of all nation in evangelism. So that's what we had today. Then I had to lunch. I had a few people. I
Okay.
had some Popeyes for lunch today and some great juice. So I
Okay.
had that for lunch today. So what
All
did you have
right.
for lunch today, Apostle? What did you have
I
for lunch,
had
Apostle?
me some duck curry
Mm,
and
you had some duck curry and what?
rice.
Duck
Curry
curry
and rice.
and duck curry.
Rice. The curry and rice.
Okay, awesome, awesome. Welcome, Akeisha Edley. Welcome. And Akeisha Edley says that good night, Pastor Seon Rodney and Apostle JD Prasad. Welcome, Simonette Seeley Rodney. That's my beautiful wife. And she said, blessings, family. So as I said, I had some Popeyes today and some Cajun rice. Yes, some Cajun rice. And it was spot on. And here we are tonight. I was more into just sitting and meditate for most of the evening and so such like. And waiting for you to come into the studio that we can able to deal with the family, to show the family tonight and have the family discourse and have this family talk with our topic tonight, embracing the change. You see, Apostle, I don't know about you, but for me, in observation, and even as a child growing up, change is always a hard thing to accept. It's very hard to deal with change. And like I would tell you, for the first example, in my family growing up is when my father had to switch position, where he could no longer be a cane harvester, he could no longer cut cane because he developed what you call, he had to get a cut for whatever it is, I can't remember it. He had to undergo surgery, and he had to undergo surgery twice. For the first time, they didn't deal it correctly, so they had to go and correct the way that they did it and so on. So because of that, he had to go to a lighter duty of work, where now he become a security guard. So that start affecting even more our financial aspect of our family, because my dad didn't believe that my mom should work. So he have my mother to feed and me to feed and such like and so forth. So now we had to adapt to this new change, this new norm. Then before he even get back to light duty, there's a span that he could not have worked, which you call you have to be in recovery. Cannot lift anything heavy, cannot bend much and stuff like that. And he's the main breadwinner in our home. So I understand frontally what change is and how hard it is sometimes to adapt to change. Sometimes change is forced upon us. Sometimes we're not ready for change, right? And tonight I want us to, that's my experience, the first experience where I would say change was forced upon us. We weren't ready for that change in our lives. You know what I'm saying? I know my father he was as a keen investor, he will bring home more money, then he will, and so forth and such like. But we didn't prepare for that change. That change of course of life. But what about your first experience of change in your family as a child or whatever you have experienced, Apostle?
Good night, everyone. I'm sorry about the rain is falling very, very heavily. And but I hope that you guys are hearing me loud and clear. I want to say again to you, Pastor Seon, thank you very much for having me on tonight. I'm very always excited on Sunday night. I can't wait for us to come together because I know that God is using us mightily. And I want to say good night to all our viewers. We pray that you continue to join us and continue to be with us and, cheer us on as we go through this journey called life. And we also try to help others, to motivate others. We are not perfect. We are not perfect. We have our faults. We have our weaknesses, but we also are trying to help each other and we are helping others as we come along the way. Pastor Sion, there was a lot of changes for us, for me as an individual, that at a tender age, um we had to move from place to place. you know we had to move from one place to another. Moving is not easy. Moving from one place, that means you have to change school. That means you have to get new friends. Every time that you move, you got to get somebody new. You got to know somebody new. You have to get new teachers. You got to get, it's a whole new environment. You got to go through it all over again. Stuff like that. So there was a lot of changes growing up, Pastor Sion, but one of the things that I thank God for is that even when changes come your way, that you can able to develop the strength in Christ to know, listen, we're gonna get through this, even though another change is coming.
Yeah, and that's so important that every day we deal with changes. And Pastor Simeon Seeley Rodney says, blessing family, change is necessary. And that is so true also, because change is necessary. Even in our
It
own
helps
life,
us to grow.
it
It
helps
helps
us.
us to grow, Pastor Sion. It helps us to grow in a good way. It helps you to develop in a better way because it teach you different situation and different circumstances. And when you go through that phase of life, it helps you to motivate yourself as an individual.
Yes, and that is so true. But Apostle, before we get to the aspect of, I had a call, and the call when someone saw the topic that we will discuss with the family tonight, for our family gathering, humanity over spirituality, someone asked that we deal frontally with a little change, and this is a female, mind you, for us to deal with menopause as one of the change. And the person said that it's a female, they are going through menopause. And they asked me in simplicity to ask you if you are, or if you know, or any experience that you can deal with that change. When they saw the topic, they think about the present situation, what they're going through. So before you get to that, though, Apostle, let's welcome Akisha Edley says, that's right. Lena Ramsey, welcome. She said, good night, Apostle J.D. Prasad and Pastor Seon Rodney. But Apostle, I want you to take a few minutes to wish all who celebrate a birthday, anniversary, purchase a new home, purchase a new car, increase in salary, promotion on the job, who bring a baby, bouncing baby, boy, girl, twin, triplet into this world. You know what I'm saying? They celebrate a harvest. They cut some nice rice. They get 15 bags extra patty. They get a great crop. Let's celebrate and rejoice with them. So give them a shout out tonight and celebrate them. Then we're going to deal with this young woman request tonight. She used me to get to your
Tonight,
ear.
tonight we would like to say congratulations to each and every one of you, whatever or wherever you have achieved throughout this life, maybe a child, maybe a house, maybe a land, whatever you have achieved today, celebrating yet another birthday, celebrating yet another anniversary, we want to say to you, in everything that you do, remember Jesus is the answer. Whatever you do today, remember that Jesus is the center of it all. And we want to say congratulations to you. We want to say God's richest blessing upon you and continue to keep your eyes upon God because He's the author and the finisher of our faith tonight.
Yes, Apostle. So this young woman used me to get to your ear because, as I said earlier in the preamble, she saw the flyer on Facebook, and I didn't know if she familiar as I think with our program. And she said she is going through menopause as we speak, and she see the topic embracing the change, and she's going through body change. She said she's going through mood change, and she want you to to talk about change that she is going through, and you could talk about menopause, embracing the change. So Apostle, over to you tonight, embracing the change. Let's deal with body change from women, and we take it from there.
Tonight, I want to say to the individual, I am not a doctor, medical doctor, but I could say this much. I rally a lot around a lot of women that are going through menopause. So there are a lot that I could discuss about menopause, that what women are going through. And different women, we all are women, but we all go through menopause in a different um state of our lives, but we all have different symptoms. Some of us, I could remember one lady said to me, she said like she's getting a nervous breakdown. One woman said to me, she said, Apostle, I just can't sleep in the night. It's either my skin is hot or my skin is cold. Some women would say, Apostle, because of this menopause, my appetite have cut. Some women would say because of the menopause, they eat a lot of sweet. Some will say they eat a lot of salt. Some will say, they cannot take, like, okay, the noise. So we all go through, all the women is going through different symptoms, and so it do change our lives as a Sion, because a lot of things in our lives change. Because remember, when you step into menopause, you know what, there's a lot of things that happen. There's, the sickness in the body. Some people have the blood pressure would go up. Some people have sugar diabetes. Some people have, there's different symptoms. Some of us go through like different things that we cannot deal with, that we cannot come to grips with or come to terms with. But this evening, I want to encourage us as women, despite of what you are going through menopause, yes, the doctor is there to protect us. The doctor is there to protect us. The doctors is there to give us advice in situation. We need to pray about circumstances. And there are some women, Pastor Sean, I was talking to a woman today, same thing about menopause, and she was saying to me, she said, I didn't even know that I was in a menopause state, and she said, I get through menopause like nothing didn't really happen to me.
Deacon Sherwin Labasti says, good night, family. Blessing Pastor Seon and Apostle. He says Sunday best. I know it's the Sunday best until we tell us what his Sunday best is. Deacon Labasti, Lana Ramsey said, so true. Welcome, Joel Casey. Said, good night, Apostle J.D. Prasad and Pastor Seon Rodney. Yes, Apostle. And I believe and what you said, everybody, is not one size really fit all in terms of menopause. But I think conversation need to be had, Apostle, even before menopause, because I think women and men, our body go through different changes, right? Like Pastor
Yes,
said,
Pastor Seon.
change necessary, and we go through different changes. But I think what happens sometimes we made to adapt people in the changes, not recognizing that the time gonna be that the changes follow other things. So sometimes we wait till when there is menopause, according to the woman that talked to me to talk to you tonight, to make sure it's a part of our discussion. I call another friend and ask her what about it and so on. And we had a discussion back and forth. And a few things I learned from her, which we're going to talk about for a few minutes. And she is not on the line tonight because she's traveling and she should be in North Carolina. So she wouldn't be on our show tonight because she's traveling around in transition to be from Guyana to North Carolina. But never be the less, the conversation need to be had sometime apart. For example, I think when a woman get married, she look one way, right? And over a period of time, the man look one way. A period of time, their changes will take place, you know. Sometimes I guess the man grow outward like I do. I do no longer have a six pack. According to the boys, I have a keg. You see, and so on. I'm no longer 120 pounds, you know. I'm now 100 and I think 22, 23, somewhere there about the last time I weighed. The woman, she may start, you know, enlarging different areas. And sometimes because it's not a discussion take place, it's just an acceptance. We're a few years down the road, there what we deal with what we call menopause, right? So I think I'm listening to these young women that go through such. Yes, Shawila Basti said you have to stay in the shape if possible. Yeah, but yeah, Apostle. But then let me look at talk.
I want to tell brother, I want to say to brother Sherwin that we cannot stay in shape um uh when we are aging, because when you're young, you know, you want to stay in that shape, and especially for the women, you know, yes, we get a Coca-Cola shape, you know, when we are young and so on and so on, and mommy and daddy home. But when you got married and then you got a kid, you know,
Yeah,
you got to embrace that changes in your body. You understand, because your body no longer the sexy lady, your body no longer, you know, the nice shaped thing. Yes, sometimes, yes, we can get back to that place, but then in the meantime, by the time you decide to get back to that sexy Coca-Cola shape and, you know, get yourself in order, boop, here come another child again, and so you get pregnant again, and so you roll from there. And so even as you see on the fertilizer food that we are eating in Guyana, you know, that food make you put on a lot of weights, man. And then when you started to eat all the sweet and you start to gravitate to these ice cream and chocolate and stuff like that, you do get out of shape at times. But sometimes you just got to pull yourself in and say, listen, you got to do what you got to do.
Deacon Shawila Basti
Pastor
said,
Short, Pastor Sion, but Brother Short, we got to remember too, as women, you know, we have to breastfeed our children, you know, so we no longer get the looks that we had when you guys first met us, you know. We we get a little fatter, we get a little sag here and a little sag there, but that's okay.
well, Apostle, sometimes, and I feel for the women more so over the men. And I think, like I said, this is a discussion need to be had around the family. And because some women along the way having a child, you may get stretch mark which you never prepare for. That's a change that's come upon you. And some not only
Yes.
stretch mark, and you said about the breast too. Breastfeed the child, you no longer may have the size 6 cup. You may have a size 8 cup, and everything changes. Some people may have, what do you call it, a cesarean C-section, something like that. Where
Yes,
you
Pastor Sion. You no longer get a nice little flat tummy anymore, because you have the cesarean, you gotta took the saline, you put on a lot of weights. You know what? So yes, we do in change. We gotta embrace a lot of changes in our lives. And not only the women, Pastor Sion, but the men also.
Mhm.
Because as
Continue.
like you said, when you were a young man, you had a six pack, but as you get older, now you have kids, you gotta maintain a family. So you go on to your job. Sometimes your job taking up your time. You don't get to go to gym. Sometimes you didn't get to eat on time. Sometimes you eat too late and then you go to sleep. You start to put on some tummy, you started to put on some waist, so yes, we do have changes in our body, and especially for the ladies, we do have a lot of change. Menopause, I know of one woman that had, because her run off her head, let me put it that way, I want to put it our term, because of menopause. Menopause would cause a lot of things to happen to women. Like myself, when I hit 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, hitting those years, I begin to have some spot on my face that wasn't there, you know, and then you realize that the menopause come with all these things. Menopause come with we all are women come with different symptoms, and we have premenopause, which is for women like us that in our 40s and our 50s, and then it have menopause for the older folks that okay, they're in their 60s and their 70s. But when you're in premenopause, you begin to start seeing the symptoms, or you begin to start feel symptoms around you, because you know what, Pastor Sion, some women can't even wear long clothing because the skin is that hot.
Hmm.
I remember when I was living in Tobago, there was a woman with us on the mission team, and she had to change her clothes like 4 or 5 times because our skin is like if the rain wet her skin.
Deacon Shaw in the bus, he said men and women are stressed out over different problems. Joel Casey said, yes, that's right. Lanny sent some stars, golden stars to us. Pastor Seon Wedland Sealy said, God bless the conversation, Sila. Shaw in the bus, he says, you will still love your husband or wife, but in a nice way. Just let them know. Right. But the conversation have to be had, Apostle. And I love what you said, that leading up to menopause, because sometimes it's not only embracing menopause, like you said, you have that C-section, then you have stretch marks coming in, then you find that it comes with baby fats and baby different size, the woman get out of shape, then you find that the man no longer go to the gym because he have other roles and responsibility, right? So he's no longer looking at this, bicep, tricep, six pack, skin are so tight and stuff like that. So it's embracing the change is our topic tonight, family. And change we're talking about starting off is the change that we're not prepared for. And these are changes that come upon us. But tonight, we can better have this discussion that we can better prepare for change. Because many marriages are suffering because the man is prepared to see his wife looking a certain way. And sometimes the woman is prepared to see our husband looking a certain way, you know what I mean, Apostle? But what about the aging? Because when you age, you don't normally look the same. We talk about that, Apostle. You know, you start get your skin start looking different and all this thing when you age. You don't remain the same, right?
Well, like I would say, Pastor Sion, um, age, you know, some of us, we really put on a lot of weight. Some of us, a few months ago, I met one of my classmates, and she was saying to me, she's ashamed of herself because she was saying that, um, look at me, I'm not looking my age, and she's looking older than her age. And one of the things, Pastor Sion, especially as husband and wife, I always tell um other women or even the men whenever I do a little marriage counseling or marriage is going on the rocks or getting on the rocks. One of the things that I would say to the men and the women is that I was 130 pound when my husband met me. I was 130 pound. I was well shaped thin, and everything was good. And then I got pregnant with my daughter, and I had cesarean, as you said, Pastor Sion. And then I began to, at the hospital, I had to take the saline, and I began to gain weight. And so I think to myself one day, I'm gaining a lot of weight. So I went to my husband and I was like, you realize that I'm gaining a lot of weight. And my husband said, whether you gain 120 pounds or you gain 500 pounds, he said, I would still love you the way you are. And I would tell men that I never one day hear my husband say to me, you know what, um, Jay, I think you put on too much of weight, or Jay, I think that I can't take the way you are. No, my husband always said to me, whenever I put on a dress, you know to yourself that you've gained the weight. And I would say to him, my God, I really put on some weight. And I would say, I don't like how I look in this dress. And he just said, you look as beautiful as you were when I met you. And so these are things, Pastor Sion, these are things that we need to complement each other. And then little after, my husband started to grow a little tummy, you know, and my husband would say to me, he said, wow, my tummy is getting, a little high. And I would say, well, okay, you know what? Let me and you go together for a walk every afternoon, or let us go for a walk every morning, or let us join the gym. We begin to encourage each other now because we realize that, listen, the weight is not doing any good for us. You understand? And so, Pastor Sion, yes, our body do have changes in different stages of our lives. But what do? We have to embrace it and
Mm-hmm.
work on ourselves for better to come.
Yes, and Pastor Jasmine Prasad joined us. And she said, good night, Apostle JD and Pastor Sion. Deacon Shawin Labasti said, that's good, man. Pastor Sion, I have my six pack. God bless you, brother. Vanessa Walters said, good night, everyone. I doesn't have a six pack anymore. I went through my early body cult change. And I think during COVID, I gained more weight than I ever had before. And I'm working on my weight to get rid of it. Because I don't only accept that I have change, but I want to do something because all change are not healthy change. All change are not healthy change, but you have to embrace the change. So I'm start working on some homemade stuff to make sure I take care of this sudden change, but I don't want it to be a permanent change. So embracing the change one is accepting that there is a change and there is a need to deal with the change. There's sudden change that come upon you, and there's some change you need to deal with. So, Apostle, I love what you said that now your husband acknowledged that he need to do something about the change that he saw while you were telling about his change, but your change, and he embraces you, and now you telling about his change and you embracing him. And together you guys are doing something about that change. And tonight we want to take what you're saying and even encourage the family that where there is that physical change, husband and wife, you can have that discussion, family, and you can have a bike. As I went to Apostle home, I'm letting out some secret that I saw now. I'm a drop, but this is what I saw. There is a bike on Apostle's veranda where she can sit and she can exercise riding bike, right? That she can sit and exercise. So probably she and Pastor and Andrew are doing the exercising together. I don't know, but there's an exercising bike on her veranda. So there are things you can discuss. Probably you can have yourself in the body called change that you embrace. You need to do better. You can have probably a treadmill in your driveway, in under your home, in your garage, wherever you want to put your treadmill, and probably you all can walk together. And I love what you said, Apostle. You and Uncle Andrew, you all to go for walk in the evening. You can probably go for walk in the morning. Probably you skipping rope, whatever y'all want to do. But it's all about having that discussion to embrace the change. Leading up to the young woman, find our topic on Facebook, called me to talk about menopause that she is going through. Probably she need to be encouraged, feeling that she's not alone. And that leads us to the discussion that we're saying tonight, that there must be a discussion that husbands, I want to say, talking to this young woman, Apostle, is that most women, she says, they leave to deal with the menopause issues and situation alone because the husband don't know what to do and how to do. Many husbands, according to she talked to a rest of women, never heard about menopause, don't know how to deal with menopause. So Apostle, did Uncle Andrew know about it? How you and Uncle Andrew really get through that part when you had your turn of your premenopausal issues?
Well, Pastor Sion, to be honest with you, I am not into menopause as yet, but now and then I would have a symptom or two, you
Mm.
know. But like I said, there are times when myself and my husband we would sit and we would Google up about menopause because sometimes I would say to him that like I'm feeling a little like a hot flush, you know, and my husband would say, you know what, you need to know what it is all about because it would come a time when you will get there. And so he said, by the time you get there, you know what you are dealing with. You know what is. So yes, my husband do sit with me and help me to like gain some knowledge about it. And as well as women, when we sit together, and I like what the sister said. There are many times the man does not understand because I had a friend and she had a little discussion. She invited me to go where she invited a lot of women, and a lot of women were saying one of the things that menopause bring is that you're no longer that patient person. You kind of fret for everything. You
Wow.
get real agitated for everything. And the man does not understand that, listen, my wife is going through something in her life. There's a phase that she's going through. They do not want to understand that. And then sometimes some of the women would say, you know what, some days you feel like you don't even want to do any work. You don't feel like that you want to cook. It's not every day, but that's some of the symptoms also. And so to explain that to your husband, sometimes it is very, very much challenging. And yes, Pastor Sion, a lot of men does not take time out to help their wife to go through that phase. They enjoy the wife when they met their wives. They enjoy the courting part. They enjoy going out. They enjoy going to the dance, the movie. They enjoy that their wife give birth to the children. They enjoy that the wife bringing up the children, putting food on the table, cooking, cleaning, and so on. You enjoy that part with your wife. But when it comes to this part of menopause, you just drop her like hot potato.
Jasmine said, looking pretty, mom. Joy
Mm.
Usher said, good
Thank
night, everyone.
thank
Joel Casey said, all the time. Lena Ramsey said, that is so true. Joshua Love said, good night, Pastor Seon and Apostle J.D. Prasad. So, Apostle, listening to you, and it makes sense. And SOHP Kingdom said, amen. That's the church family. Yeah. So, listening to you, and it's important. But sometimes some women too, in no really to invite their husband, how to invite their husband into the discussion, right? So tonight we are helping both party, which is a husband and a wife, or even you're not married, but you're at this menopause stage and you're in a relationship, whether you're living home, right? Or whether you're dating and you're going through menopause, and you never know that was important and you're facing it alone and you're feeling discouraged. But sometimes we are helping you to understand, listen to Apostle, that it is important for you to invite your significant other into that discourse. And Apostle said she and brother Andrew, Uncle Andrew, they sit down and they Google it together. So Uncle Andrew can know what to expect if this what they're Googling, that his wife go through, how to deal with it. So it's okay for you to invite your husband or your fiancé or your boyfriend on that journey with you. And then, Apostle, for men now, after they understand, they have to start embracing the change that is coming from this woman at this juncture of her life, which is menopause. So, Apostle, so with this change, is it how can people embrace this new change of menopause? How is it to embrace going forward now with a new change?
well, Pastor Sion, one of the things I would say to women is that the foremost thing is God.
Mhm.
You have to know Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior. You might want to say, what menopause have to do with that? Because when you go through menopause, for most of the women that I talk to, when they go through menopause, they say all they do is talk to God because God have to give you the wisdom, the knowledge, and the understanding to go through this process of menopause. And many a time, Pastor Sion, as women, we injure our own selves when it comes to the time of menopause because some of us, our hands is very quick to pick up the negative food to put in our mouths. You understand? And so we don't have control over our hands to our mouths. You understand? We don't, because everything we see, we want to eat. Everything we want, everything we see, we want to be a partaker of. You understand? And sometimes, you know what? The oily food is not good enough for when you're going through menopause for some women. Sometimes the meat, the beef, the pork, the chicken is too much for the body. Like I said, all women have different symptoms. You understand? So this is one of the things, Pastor Sion, as much as you go to the doctors and they would explain to you, this is menopause and this is natural. This is, you have to go through these things. This is what's going to happen. This is what, like my dark spot that I have on my face. When I go to the doctors, they say to me, you know what, there is nothing that we can do. But I remember, Pastor, and I would look myself in the mirror and I tell God, this is not how you created me. I didn't have spot on my face. So God, you need to do something. I talk to God just like how I'm speaking to you. So ladies need to tell God, say, listen, God, you give me this body. You create this body. You know everything about this body, God. So God, listen, even I'm going through menopause, you need to let your healing virtue flow. You need to give me the wisdom. You need to give me the knowledge. You need to give me the understanding. God, teach me how to get through this time of menopause.
Deacon Shawin Abasi said, heavy word. Joshua Love said, thanks for discussing this. We all need to educate ourselves about the premenopause and menopause. Thank you for sharing, Apostle. Akisha Edley said, amen. And I think, Apostle, thinking about it here, listening to you, I think the discussion need to go even further. Welcome, Deaconess Brenda Samuels. Wow, welcome. I miss you today at SOHP. She said, come to walk together unless can two walk together unless they agree. There has to be an understanding with each other, and that is so beautiful. But and that's what we are saying, Deaconess Brenda, is that the woman over for this discussion that I had after this young woman, because I want to make sure I get from a collective different people and so forth and such like. Some women, they never invite the man like Apostle did. She invited her husband on that journey. So they did the research together. And Apostle is at premenopause or about to be menopause. She's not fully menopausal yet. And she invited her husband on that journey, right? Some women, they go through it alone, Deaconess. They didn't embrace the man because probably they weren't taught or well educated. This change just come upon them. They never been taught about menopause in the women's group or in the non-profit organization or at home in the family and stuff like that. You just, you went to get married and then here is menopause keep up upon you. Invite your husband, your significant other, and then he can be able to do it along with you. So when those changes come along, the man can able to embrace your changes. Because some women say they go through mood swings. One woman said to me, she was told, Apostle, to take her family along. So she called her daughters, not her son, because her son was in Venezuela. Her son was in Venezuela because an issue arose and he was in Venezuela to make sure he cool his head and everything else. So he wasn't there on the journey, but she called her daughters and she said, this is what I was asked to tell you guys on this journey that I am embracing. Some people try to embrace the journey alone, and there's where they have pushback and different kinds of stuff. Education is very important. Without somebody understand or people around you understand, they better know to deal with you. So you see, the Bible said we are destroyed because of lack of knowledge. Sometimes we try to isolate ourselves on our issues. Just a sidebar here. Like some people feel, pray for me. And this is what we get in church. A prayer as the Spirit leads. You know you have cancer. And I must pray that the Spirit leads because you feel it's an embarrassing to tell me or to tell us what to pray for. But you want as the Spirit leads and you embrace that journey alone. It's better when you have a family and a community with you. The Deaconess Brenda said, so wrong. Shauna Basti said that is so true, not to talk about changes because it affects both parties in a relationship. If you listen carefully what we are saying, Deaconess, both on a journey, this is what we're saying, and I like what you said, not to talk about changes because it affects both parties. It has changes. If it is embraced, it cannot affect. If something is not embraced, well, therefore it will affect. And what we're telling the family is to have this embrace before or even while there is that they can embrace together. Like, for example, when my wife was going to have a child, she asked me to make sure I embrace being at her bedside. And Apostle, I embraced that, and I saw what a cesarean C-section looked like. I leave that room with more compassion for women because I see what a birth pain is like. I was on that journey with her. So I have a different compassion than a man who have not experienced that. You see, a mom experienced, so I get a headache, just bring something to put on my head. But I see what true pain is. I see where the flesh is being torn apart. So what we're saying, I like what you said exactly now, that it has both parties have to have that conversation. And Apostle going to tell you how she did to get Uncle Andrew to look when they Google it. It's not what you say, but it's how you say what you say. Sometimes If we throw away the baby with the bath water even before we start bathing the baby properly. We defeat the purpose before we even get the purpose accomplished. So you have to know, and we cannot tell you to bring your significant other on that journey to discuss menopause. You have to know when is the person mood, when is the person happy hour. I don't know, your husband may be Friday night special, he may be Thursday night special, that may be the time. We don't know that. So therefore, for there be an agreement and a unison on your journey, you have to know when to, like, okay, like when the woman of God was going to meet our Boaz, which we love to talk about. The woman who is the experienced mother, she said, where to touch. Remember, Apostle? Then she said, how to touch and cover his feet. Because you have to know the when, the where, and the how.
Oh.
Then when you get that done, then you can embark on that journey. For in America, they teach most men, Apostle, what we call the Llamas class. What the Llamas class does, because I went off one session of the Llamas. The Llamas class teach you how to breathe while the woman is breathing, even you are not pregnant. So you are going through on that pregnancy journey when she is dilating and they're telling her breathe and push. So you are on that journey with her. The same thing we are saying for menopause. For everybody, Apostle is saying, one size doesn't fit all. So we are saying, invite those in your environs. Your children who have to deal with your mood swing. Your children who have to deal with your hot flashes. Your significant other. Or probably you may be a boss. And you have trusted staff around you. This staff can cause you to lose your job because they don't understand you suddenly look like a different person. Right? So it's all about to be had and not to be in isolation. An apostle is saying with her, she's not a medical doctor, but she used our premenopausal experience tonight because somebody tell us to have this discussion. And apostle, I want you to educate us now. How did you have Pastor Andrew, which is your husband, to listen while you were Googling? What did you tell him? What method did you use?
Well, like I said earlier, Pastor Seon, we always look out for each other, like I said. And so he would see me like sweat, maybe the fan is on, but my skin with hot, he would see me like this, shaking my clothes like this, or I would take tissue to wipe my skin. And then he would say, what is happening? And he said, the place, all the fun is on. And I would say, you know what? No, I'm very, very much hot, and then I would say, you know what? You remember, I'm not getting younger, man, I'm getting older. And he would laugh and he would say, I understand what you are saying. And then he said, well, you know what? Let us go and check about it. Let us Google it up and see what it is all about. And so we Google it up and then we realize what it is all about and we begin to discuss this. But I remember Pastor Sion talking to one woman. She was telling everybody that she was going through menopause except her husband. So I said to her, I said, why did you not discuss it with your husband? And she said that one of the things, and I hope no little children is wrong for what I'm about to say. One of the things that when women go through menopause also, Pastor Sion, some women, not every woman, some women, they desire to making love or I don't want to put it in a way because I don't know if kids is watching us also, but making love with each other. Some women, they do not have the appetite for that anymore. It's not that, they don't want it at all, but sometimes because the way their body feel, they simmer down or simmer out from it for a little while. And so many women get afraid because if they tell their husband how they feel about making love, that husband would step out out of the marriage because of one instant one woman said when she discussed with her husband about menopause, that she are going through menopause. He said to her, well, it's time for me to find somebody else because you are getting older. So,
And
men, what we need to understand, and I'm not here to bash the men, but what we need to understand now, myself and my husband married for decades, and I feel that when you start a courting from a tender age, and when you get together, and even when you get married, the vow said for better and for worse, for richer and for poorer. Is that not that so, right? In health and not good health, we're supposed to be there for each other. So even if your wife is going through a phase of her life, what you need to do is to be there with her, encouraging her, cheering her on, and say, listen, we're gonna get through this. You know what? We can do this, we can do that, we can do different things to make, make you get back to that place, the excited place that you were. You can begin to take your wife out on a vacation, just you and her alone, on a boat cruise. You do things that would get her back to that place. But then if you're gonna sit there and say, listen, she going through her thing, I'm gonna do my own thing, I'm gonna go and see for somebody else, and stuff like that, and everything just fall from there.
yes, and Joshua Love says, oh, Deaconess Brenda say, yes, sir. Joshua Love said, wow. Similar Pastor, similar Seely Rodney say, talk the thing, apostle. Show the Deaconess showing, Deacon showing Labasti said, the husband is gone through the door out. That's that Pastor similar Seely Rodney said, be creative. Showing Labasti said, keep the fire burning. Amen. Pastor Simo. You see,
Yeah, but that's true. That's true, Pastor Sion. You have to keep. You see, um, like back in the days, right? Um, when as I was growing up, going to school, um, I had a headmistress, and she would ask me. She said, "JD, why you never have a boyfriend in the school?" Like she would see other, girls have their boyfriend and so on. And I would say, I don't want a boyfriend my age. I want a boyfriend that is a little bigger than me because he gonna be very experienced more than me because I was a very much anger. I had a lot of anger issue. And I always tell myself if I marry somebody my age, Pastor Sion, I used to say we're gonna fight a lot, we're gonna tumble each other, we're gonna I used to I used to embrace the change already before it can happen in my mind, you know. So I like what the person said. You have to keep the fire burning. I mean, my husband and myself, we married for decades, but there are times I would say to my husband, "Let us go for a drive all by ourselves." I still kiss my husband before I left home. If I had to go to do any errands, or I have to go and do a Thanksgiving, or my children would still see I give my husband a kiss and said, "Okay, babe, I'm going. I will be back." My husband would do the same. We gotta be there, hand in gloves in hand, to encourage each other, because the hardest part of it, Pastor Sion, is that when you marry this man, and I'm not saying it for women alone, because when you married a man, the man had his six pack, and he had all the muscles and so on, but then you start cook out a set of food, fatty food, and give the man, and the man put on a belly size, and he put on fat underneath the arm and so on, and you want to get angry at him. You understand what I'm saying? But Pastor Sion, at the end of the day, if we encourage each other, if we is there for each other, some women, gone are the days when men would ask women, "How was your day?" they came in from work, your wife came in from work. How was your day? Did you eat? When sometimes I ask a married man, when last you call your wife and say, I'm thinking about you? When last you call your wife and say, you know what, babe, we didn't do dinner for a long time. Why don't you put on a nice dress tonight? So, babe, you know what? It's long we didn't shower together. You know what? And one husband said to me, and I don't want to be biased here. One husband said to me, I remember back in Tobago, I was talking to a married couple, and they was having some problem. And the man said to me, he said, Apostle, no, that at that time I was an evangelist. He said, Evangelist, let me tell you what is the problem. I said, talk to me, brother. Let me hear what is your problem. He said, listen to me. My wife have 2 kids, and it's like if she have 10. Because he said, listen, when you see I left to go to work and I come home, he said she there over a big tub of clothes, washing clothes, wears in the sink. He said she hair and comb, she clothes front wet up. And yes, he said it's okay. He understand they have 2 kids or stuff like that. But he says sometimes he's telling her that, listen, you can leave back some of the clothing, and just try to multitask in the house. So when I come home, when I come home, I want to cuddle my wife, I want to hug she up, I want to say, how are you? But he said, I can't do that because the way the woman is, and then he says sometimes now he wanted to, just give her a smack or something, and she gonna say, oh, the children is there. You understand? And so when, sometimes you're in the house and you're watching movie with your kids, or some wives say, oh, don't hug me because the children is there. Come on,
And
ladies. Come on, ladies. Come on.
are we going to close on this note? We're going to close on this note, Apostle. And that brings us to the importance of keep the fire burning and invite each other into the conversation. Communication is important. And that's why we see that at menopause, some women, to be blamed, never invite the man to that conversation. And the man gone for younger. And it's a reality of life because he was never invited on the journey. He don't know what the journey is. He don't know what comes with the journey. And you expect automatically he should know. Right? And then you find that he cannot embrace what he don't know. He's seen a change. But he cannot embrace that new change. He's seen a new person. And you feel because you are in isolation, he gone younger. And then now you blame him for going younger because you failed to invite him in the conversation. Men, we will react to what we were taught or what we are exposed to, right? So call your husband, your fiancé, your boyfriend, your engaged partner, and talk about your change, which is your new norm, and embrace it. Do the research and take them out to dinner and break the news. Write it in a card if you don't feel that you can have the courage to tell them. Read the card in front of me. What the card say? I am going through menopause. This is what, and they're going to read the card to me, honey. Read the card to me, darling. Whatever you call your husband, boo, whatever you call it, PXQ, whatever. And then you can start that journey. It's not too late. But you can probably take them to ice cream and so on, and then you let them understand the real estate. That
But
man,
Pastor Sion, can I butt in a little bit here?
yeah.
And this bring me back to not only the church, but the place that we work, our environment, our community, our home. Now, I understand that there are times that as women, we do not invite the men in. But this is where all these different forum comes into play. Because as a young man, right? And this is what I always ask young people. Do you understand what you are getting into? Do you prepare for marriage? Did you take time out to know that, listen, this woman or this man will not be this hot and spicy and sexy person for the rest of your life? You understand, Pastor Sion? And this is where I just say the church because I can say the party, or I'm saying the church and the home. This is where we got to get involved, because there are a lot of young men in the church, and we no longer have get together as older men or not so older men with the younger men and say, listen, let us have a get together. Let us keep a men retreat about how you treat your woman, how women change, what happened. Same with the women. We, the older women, the older folks, the younger girls get into things, and we all we do is judge them. We just don't say, well, listen, what you are getting into, this is what gonna happen, this is what gonna take place. So vice versa, the man might go into a marriage blindfold, a woman might go into a marriage blindfold, because they don't understand. All what they know, listen, and a lot of people, we can see that for now, for sure, a lot of young people get into marriage because of sex. You
Yes.
understand? And that is all that is upon our young people mind. Sex, sex, sex. As long as I could get sex, anything else could play out. I could marry you because I would get sex. But they never take the time out to say, listen, they're gonna come 10 years down the road where my husband gonna get changes. 10 years down the road, my wife gonna get changing, or my girlfriend, or my fiance, or whatever you want to say, my live home partner, my bestie, my buddies, whatever you want to put it. You understand? We do not take that time out to say, listen, down the road, they are going to happen. Things are going to happen. Things are going to change. Things are going to take place. We no longer have. So, Pastor Seon, at this moment and time, I am asking us, the older men, the older women, that we need to have conference. We need to have open discussion. We need to have some men night out, some women night out, and these are things that we can discuss, and so we can build each other, we can encourage each other, we could strengthen each other, because many times a lot of women will come around me about the same menopause, you understand, and there are some women, younger women, that does not go through menopause, but we sit and we talk to the older folks that are going through it, that is there with it, so we are gaining the experience, so when our time come, we can able to say, well, you know what, the elder was saying this, or we remember what they were saying, so we would put things in place and say, well, we can add this, we can take out that, we could subtract that, you understand, we can multiply that, and so we can able to build from there.
So next week we're gonna continue on embracing the change part 2. We're gonna talking about change when you're prepared to wear glasses, you're prepared for a walking stick, you're prepared for a wheelchair, you're prepared for what will come suddenly. And then we're gonna deal with embracing the change is when there is a death in the family. That's a sudden change that come, and you have to prepare to embrace that. How to deal with life insurance, right? And how to prepare for the unexpected, which will bring change upon us. So next week, family, we'll be discussing humanity over spirituality, that we can embrace spirituality, how to pray, how to deal with each other, and we're going to show the family into the direction. Then we can close on understanding that a family is that prays together when there is a change. That Apostle, love what you said before. We close on this note quickly. We quick to judge, but we never embrace. We judge the change. Why this person in the wheelchair that they need right? They didn't go to the gym. Why this person is so sad? We find we quickly a judgmental people. Why we didn't have that discussion and preparing for that change. You see? So next week we're going to deal with embracing the change part 2. Once again, family, we thank you for rolling with us tonight. We had a great topic. Let me go through quickly. The chat conversation here. Maybe stop. Okay. Deacon Shari Labasi said, Pastor Seon, tonight is fire. Good topic. Unbelievable. She is taking care of herself. Deaconess Brenda Samuel said, that's true. That's so right, Apostle. Deacon Shaman Labasi said, you blame them. You cannot blame the man. They talking about, we talk about the man going to get younger girl and surprise your wife with roses. Deacon Shaman Labasi said, true, Apostle. Vanetta Walter says, so true. Pastor Simonette Seeley put the hands. Deaconess Brenda Samuel says, this is spicy. Pastor Simonette Seeley Rodney said, very interesting conversation tonight. With that being said, family, we want to thank you. Want to follow me? I'm Jay walking over to the Jam American show, and we'll be having it spicy over there also tonight. Have a great and productive night. See you next week. Same place, same time. Humanity over spirituality with the family. Apostle J.D. Prasad alongside Pastor Seon Rodney. God bless you.